Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take a quick look here at Chainlink, see what's going on. As we can see, our local liquidation range has been swept from yesterday. Pretty much par for the course. Price pulled right back at that 1760 mark. I believe we secured a profit right at that level. We hit 1765 on the nose, so 30% profit in 12 hours. Sorry, 17 hours, and that was a pretty nice little trade. And future reference, if you're curious, what went into that, I have a trade alert section here. Make sure you read through that so you can kind of see kind of what's going on, because I give you insight on every coin I'm planning to trade before I take the trade. Okay, and it usually comes after I analyze the charts here too. So congrats to those who got in on that long. The question I'm getting right now too is do we take a short? Do I just short the top right now? The short answer is no. You generally don't want to do that, but the concept is also relevant in the sense that Bitcoin's due to pull back a little bit further. At least that's what I'm expecting or hoping to have happen, so we can get a good long at maybe 86,000 or a nice long with some other altcoins too. This coin is also another one of those that may provide some opportunities. So we'll take a look at the backend data, kind of see what's going on there first, and we'll go from there. And if you are new to the channel, maybe you've been watching for a while, thank you for always hitting that like button. Really appreciate that. Just do that every single time you watch, and it'll help grow the channel a little bit more. Unfortunately, YouTube's algorithm is terrible for the type of analysis that I do, so it just kind of gets swept under the rug for the most part, but hopefully you continue to find benefit, and I deeply appreciate it. So let's take a quick look at the last 7 days of liquidation first, which is right here on the left-hand side. We can kind of see that there are some areas of liquidation on the upside still left, like 1770 to 18. Those are more recent shorts, shorting the top there. But we can see this local liquidation area of about 1765 that was hit. We look at $15.50. That's that next area of consideration of the downside. So the price continues lower. We may see that happen, may see that area hit. And that's, once again, just below the local low of 1550. We got in at 16 to 1750 as a rough estimate, but the concept here is if the price comes back down to 15, that may be a decent consideration for long to the 1650, $17 range. We're going to look at the charts to see if that's viable or not, but this coin's still very strong, and it makes much more sense to try to take longs when the price pulls back versus trying to take a short when the price goes to what you feel is the top. A lot of this hinges on the quality of the market, though. We've got a crypto summit tomorrow here. It's going to be kind of crazy and weird and volatile, so just be mindful that anything can happen. But with liquidation delta being more biased towards longs, there's more longs with potential for liquidation. It implies further upside makes more sense. We take a look at the open interest. We can see 1550 and 1480 are the two heavier areas to the downside, so the price doesn't end up pulling back. Those would be two potential pivot points. Once more, 1550, I would consider a secondary long in that range if we see that. Between now and then, I'm not just going to set a limit order on a high leverage trade. Keep in mind, we only ever 5x leverage altcoins and 10x leverage Bitcoin. My margins are effectively relevant to the percentage of take profit. So just because I 10x Bitcoin doesn't mean I'm looking for that moonshot. Okay, I'm securing profits whenever possible. And you should too. It's just not the market to hold open trades for too long. At this point though, we can see obviously a correction. We look at Bitcoin, a very similar price action here, which is just fine. It's okay to see similar price action on the downside. The key here is that Link isn't 2x to the downside like most altcoins usually are. So that's a good sign. We take a look here at the daily. We want to recognize that we have this point of, it's not a point of control per se, but it is a point of interest rather. We got the 20 and the 200-day SMA hanging out right there at about 1680. So closing above that would be important. We can see a doji candle here for that liquidation sweep. And this is potentially a gravestone doji forming, which does imply this fair value gap down as low as 1550. What do you know? It's right there at that lower support level. May actually happen. So I'm going to set an alert here at this 1550 range and just kind of see if that triggers later, if it's worth taking another long. Okay, that's kind of where how I like to do things. I just kind of set alerts as I meander through the charts and kind of reevaluate if and when we get there. We do have a previous support level at about 1850. Keep in mind that's probably more so a resistance moving forward. So you just got to recognize that we're not just because this coin's doing well in the short term doesn't mean it's going to just explode. It has potential, but there's some things you got to recognize. In other words, a lot of resistance above us. However, we're getting closer to 50 in the RSI. Most coins don't really show this on their charts. Stochastic and MACD are all converging here too, showing further upside is probable. So there's that. That's a good sign. However, it's not assigned to like take a long to the freaking moon, like some people like to do. It's just not a good consideration for the moment. Right now, I think patience is important. We see that $15 range again, maybe a consideration for a long, but once more, 15.50 seems more practical at this point. We can see we're over 50 on the RSI. We had identified this yesterday. We're tentatively above our moving average there. Stochastic is swinging back and MACD is soon to diverge, so we are seeing this natural capitulation. We take a look at TD sequential, we can recognize that we've plateaued at our highest point, that 9 plus a couple of extra candles. So it's pretty safe to presume we're going to be moving down for a little while. That's just kind of the consensus here. Bitcoin has a very similar price structure where it hit its highest point at this 91.5 to 92.5 range and has since been pulling back. I think further downside, the 86K range makes sense for Bitcoin. That's ultimately what I'm looking for a long. Same thing with SUI. I'm looking for a long on the 273 to 263 range. But for Chainlink, I think 1550 seems like a very sensible area. And you got to keep in mind, folks, these are all conservative trading techniques here. So these things may not even come to pass. We might see Bitcoin explode tomorrow with the fundamental catalyst with that crypto summit event going on, okay? But this also could very well be a buy the rumor, sell the news situation. So I'd be very cautious opening too many longs leading into the weekend. We've seen what happens when people take longs on the weekends. We are, what, 8 out of 9 red weekends? The only reason we had a green weekend last weekend is because Trump sent out a tweet on Sunday morning saying Solana, XRP, and Cardano are proof of reserves or something along those lines. At this point, it's best to expect further downside. That's just kind of the general consensus. Or secure profits if you're up on some coins right now from earlier in the week. That being said, hourly time frame, quickly to note, Ichimoku cloud, we're above the cloud, usually quite favorable. We have a lot of support and confluence in this 1550 to 1660 range. So I would say that we're more likely to pivot and bounce, but it would make more sense for the price to do so at 16 or 1550. I don't think it's just a situation where we're just going to go straight up from here. Mainly because I feel like Bitcoin's still going to sell off a little bit more. Once more, those are just my thoughts. All of that is available here on our Twitter, Telegram, or Discord. So if you're not familiar, I do have that available for you at any given time. Make sure you reference Bitunix too, folks. Between now and March 14th, there's a nice deposit reward bonus. Link down below for them. They've been awesome. No KYC or VPN exchange. They are like our primary exchange we use in our community. We just love them. So thanks again for everything. I look forward to work with you if you want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tech is a site linked down below. I'll get you an updated playout chart here shortly. Hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you again soon. Thanks again. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.